The weather surely fit the mood. The sky was overcast and threatening to downpour, but only coming through in its promise with a fine spray that seemed to piss from the heavens in a mist. Wiping my eyes free of tears, I locked focus on the casket being lowered into its plot of earth as my eyes began to well up again. I loved that woman more than life itself, and as much as I was going to miss her, I found myself recollecting our past, our beginning, and maybe where I went wrong. When I was 23, I worked at a local movie store. Back then, those places were a thing. Abby, my late wife, worked alongside me. I loved her from the first moment I saw her. Her, on the other hand, wouldn't give me the time of day. Sure, I lavished her with gifts, offers of nights out, and any other attention I thought may help to win her over. Nothing ever seemed to work. The girl was far out of my league. Then, there was the night that I was walking home and ran across what looked like a businessman by a nearby alley. He was tall, older, well-kept and professional-looking, but his weather-beaten face insinuated he was worldly and had knowledge. "Hey there, young man. I've got something you might like," I heard a frail voice say as I passed by the alleyway. Turning to see him, I of course just tried to ignore him and whatever he may be peddling. But he insisted, speaking up again. "This potion will turn yourself into someone else's desire. A love potion." Now, when I looked at him, he was holding a small vial between his thumb and index finger, and I, of course, would have assumed it to just be drugs. But this guy looked like a retired tax broker, not an addict. Love potion, you say, huh? Thoughts of Abby came to mind, so I figured there was no harm in asking, "How much?" "Well, if it's money you refer to, this can be yours for a mere $50, but the price you may pay in total may not be counted with such numerical figures." Again, I wasn't too keen on the idea of giving anything I didn't completely have confidence in to someone that I cared about. But he then explained it was I who were to imbibe the liquid, and whoever I desired would become mine for life. I was surely hesitant, but eventually decided, why the hell not? I could afford the $50, having no bills to pay at the time, and worst case scenario, I'd likely have a great time tripping my balls off. So, suffice it to say, I bought it for the price he was asking, took it once I had gotten home, and went to bed. I awoke just fine the following morning. No hangover effects or emergency room required. In fact, I would have never known that I even took anything questionable if it had not been for the memory. And wouldn't you know it, that night, when I went in for my shift, Abby, unexpectedly, expressed her love for me, telling me how she secretly wanted to be with me for a long time and just never admitted it. Now, I didn't know if this was the result of that little potion or simply a dream come true, and I didn't care. I took the opportunity and never looked back. Over the years, we got married, raised children, would even begin to plan out our retirement. But last week, Abby was in a fatal car accident, hit by a drunk driver. We buried her this morning, and not once in my grief did I ever consider the implications of what I had done. Hell, over the past few decades, I had chalked that love potion up to nothing more than the tonic from a snake oil salesman. However, after attending to the late-night knock at the door and peering through the peephole, only to be greeted by the jaundiced eyes of my dead wife staring right back at me, I finally realized the true meaning of his phrase when the gentleman told me that she would be mine for life.